I finally watched a few episodes of Clarence, a show that I was put off from many years ago because I watched the very first episode of it and it was the main character Clarence chasing around another character with disgusting fingers in a play place, and I wasn't about it. So just for over a decade, I decided that the show was awful. But is that true? I decided to look at the 3 best reviewed episodes of Clarence to see if there was a chance for me to actually like these episodes, as well as the 3 worst reviewed episodes of Clarence to see if the episodes are actually that bad. None of them are below a 6.0 rating, so could it really be that awful? Is Clarence actually awful, or is it a hidden gem? That is the question I'm going to be trying to answer today, and if you like content just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. At 30k, I'm going to be cosplaying as Muscle Man from Regular Show and doing a hot dog eating contest. And if you want a place where you could discuss your favorite cartoons, movies, games, give me video ideas, share art, my Discord will be in the description. Now let's discuss, was Clarence actually awful? So the reason I decided to do this 3 best episode and 3 worst episode format was to see if the good can truly outweigh the bad, because with a show like Regular Show, for example, the show I'm just known for, the good episodes definitely outweigh the bad episodes. There are a couple of really horrible episodes, but I still consider that show a 10 out of 10 because the majority of it is just so amazing. So I was wondering, is Clarence the same? Also, I just didn't want to watch all of the episodes of Clarence because I know that the show might actually just be mid, and I didn't want to watch a bunch of really boring episodes to answer that question, so this was a much better way of doing it. And the first episode that I started off with was the best reviewed episode on IMDb with a 9.0 rating, and that is Capture the Flag. And honestly, pleasantly surprised. I actually had a really good time watching this episode. It has a decent opening with this random kid that I don't even remember his name, but he's running away and there's a bunch of other kids and they all have water balloons and it's a game of capture the flag. Okay. You got me a little bit intrigued here. I want to know what's going on. There's this really funny scene where he's about to get hit and then Clarence just light shines above. He has a shield and blocks him, and then we're introduced to this other character. I think her name is Chelsea, and she just comes down from the heavens and just nails everybody with balloons.
Hey, don't mess with the chicken nuggets.
So far, decent opening. I'm having a good time. It got me a little bit of chuckle, you know. I like chuckling. I like chuckling and laughing at things. And so far, I'm open to this episode. This is the one time that I saw that they did a 22-minute episode special, which obviously gives you more time to flush out a decent story, which probably is the reason why it's the best reviewed episode. But still, even with that, I'm still having a great time. It feels like they're developing the story well. There was a really good joke where they meet this one kid. I can't tell if his name is Benton or Belson. He's like this king guy, and he's just walking around, and he's demanding everybody juice. Juice is like the crack cocaine for kids that they're all fighting over. It's like a bunch of cartels going at it. And I really like this one scene where they collect the juice, and he just starts pouring juice on the kid, and the kid's just like, oh god, juice. Oh. I don't know. I like that kid.
I'm not thirsty.
I thought he was funny. But there's like this neutral zone, and that is the only safe place. But Belson, I really don't know this kid's name. He kind of looks like Squidward, kind of mixed with that one farm kid from Back at the Barnyard. Either way, very weird. And so they go back to their treehouse, and Clarence just starts like huffing this chicken.
Yeah, you can have nuggets without a chicken.
That was a very weird scene. I don't know how I really feel about Clarence as a character when I was watching this show. I feel like sometimes he could shine and sometimes he could be really funny, but at the same time, I feel like he needs other characters for me to actually enjoy him. Him on his own just doesn't really do it for me, but either way, I'm still going for it. They eventually go to this other section of their neighborhood to try to capture another flag, and that is when Clarence sees a bunch of kids just all in jail. You know, if you get hit by a balloon, you go to jail, you know, classic kid stuff. And he like goes underneath this table, and I straight up thought that he like put his cock through this hole. I guess that's just my horrible way of thinking. It was just really weird, but he just put his finger in there and he frees them all. And this starts the entire thing where Clarence is now the Messiah. I really liked that like entire plot of Clarence being this Messiah to all the children, being praised like a god.
Let's go get Belson's flag. It's the only one left.
No, I won't be getting any more flags. I got a new journey ahead. to free all of those who've been unfairly imprisoned.
They're kissing his feet, they're walking around like he truly is the best man there. And that is when we're also introduced to these weird juice kids. They're wearing like paper bags and armor, and they just go like, juice, 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 juice. I thought they were an interesting enough villain for the episode. It definitely intrigued me and kept me wanting more, because going into this I was like, oh god, 22 minutes of Clarence, am I gonna be having fun? I don't know, but I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. They go and try to get Belson's flag, and Belson was attacked by all these people, and he's just like acting manic. He's freaking out. And that is when everybody else gets taken by the Juice Kids, everybody on Clarence's team, and they get taken, and that's when it's revealed that Sumo, the monster in the basement, one of Clarence's friends, is like this king, the king of the Juice Kids, and I thought he was pretty cool. I like his announcement. I think he worked as a pretty decent villain for the episode. Some of it still feels a little bit rushed to me, even though they had 22 minutes. Like, Sumo is revealed about 12 minutes into the episode, doesn't really get any time to shine, and it's okay, I guess. We just get more of Clarence being a messiah, which is really funny, just him freeing a bunch of children and they all love him. I think some of the battles are decently fun. Also, anytime I hear Sumo's voice, I can't tell if it's Tom Kenny, and I couldn't be bothered to look it up, but it sounds like him, and it also just sounds like the SpongeBob girl going, chocolate, I remember chocolate. But either way, I'm still enjoying myself nonetheless. And I really do enjoy this one scene where the Chelsea girl tries to take down King Sumo. She takes off the helmet and throws a balloon at him, and he just catches it, showcasing his power. Oh my god, what a game is this, dear lord? So the episode continues, and Clarence shows up at Sumo's ultimate gated community, where he has all of the prisoners there, and Clarence just literally has heavenly light, and nothing explains where he gets this heavenly light, but he's the Messiah, he's being pushed, and everybody follows him, and they just start relentlessly destroying everybody, and Clarence frees everybody.
Lord Clarence!
And that's the entire episode. Honestly, I had a really good time. It's kind of hard describing this kind of show to you because it all feels very new to me, and I still don't know the majority of the characters' names, but I could see why this is the best reviewed episode. I honestly had a pretty decent time. I liked the entire concept of the balloon war and capturing the flag. I like all the build-up with the weird Juice Kids and Sumo's reveal, especially Clarence as the Messiah. That was just a really well-thought-out gag that I thought they did really well. Clarence's personality meshes super well to a Messiah-like character because he seems so out of it in a way. Like, he definitely seems like he's a kid that struggles a little bit mentally, but at the same time, it works so well because he's just like, oh, let me free you, my children. You don't think I would miss this party? I just thought it was a lot of fun. I thought this episode was really good. So far, the first episode that I watched of Clarence, I got a pretty decent impression from it. Next, we're going to be taking a look at one of the worst episodes of Clarence, and that is the episode Dog King. And I can definitely see why this is considered to be one of the worst episodes. I mean, first of all, it's mainly just all Clarence, and something I noticed just watching a few of these episodes is Clarence really needs other characters for his personality to shine in a meaningful way. I don't really like him on his own. They like try a bunch of these random jokes, but at the same time, it just doesn't seem to land when he's just talking with himself and nobody is reacting to it. I don't know, it just feels like it's missing something. The beginning of this episode is just Clarence walking around feeding a bunch of people's dogs, and he's like, oh, I'm the Dog King. That's not a very good voice for Clarence, is it? I'm the Dog King. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something, but he just going around doing that, and then he eventually finds out that this old lady needs somebody to watch her dog, and he gets there and he's like, please let me watch your dog. Please. God, I'm sorry.
Please let me watch your puppy.
Clarence, I'm sorry.
Pretty please let me watch your dog. And I actually really like this one scene where Belson is already there to watch the dog and Clarence is begging, and then Belson is just like, oh man, I don't really want to do this thing that my mom is making me totally want to do, and just walks out of the house. I thought that scene was funny.
Oh man, I really wanted to do this thing my mom is making me do, but I mean, if Clarence wants to do it that bad, who am I to stop him? Wow, what a shame.
So far I laughed at the episode, so how bad could it possibly be? Oh god, it just gets so unbelievably bad so quickly. The lady's trying to tell Clarence that her dog is a bit of a, reactive kind of mean dog and doesn't really like other people, and he just shoves her out of her own home and is just like, I could do this, and he quickly finds out that the dog is pretty gosh dang evil, doesn't really like him. Then we just get a bunch of scenes where he's just not really being a competent person, especially when it comes to pet care. Like, he just walks over to the dog and has way too much food for it. It literally says one scoop, he pours the entire bag, and then he's all like, oh, I'm gonna give you some people food too.
Oh, I know what to do. Don't tell your mom, but I'm gonna give you some people food.
Boom! And just drops an entire plate of spaghetti, and the dog still doesn't like that and is threatening Clarence. So Clarence is all like, oh, you must want to go for a walk! And then takes the dog for a walk, and obviously it goes awry. The dog gets off a leash, and Clarence is just chasing it everywhere. And I don't know, just something about it rubs me the wrong way. I don't feel like he should be looking after this poor old lady's dog. And it just still doesn't really get any better. He is just severely incapable of caring for an animal. There's nothing that's making me enjoy this. And eventually he gets back and he picks up this turtle. And I actually laughed a little bit when he's holding the turtle and he's like, oh, at least I'm the king of turtles.
Sir Cookies likes me that much. I guess I'm not the dog king. Maybe I could be a turtle king. Ow.
The turtle just has a scared look on its face, and then the dog has Clarence's shoe, so he puts the turtle on the floor, and I was like, oh my god, he put the turtle on the floor. I already know what's gonna happen, and the dog ends up with the turtle in its mouth, and I'm just thinking, dear Lord, please don't kill the turtle. Please don't kill the turtle. And unfortunately he doesn't, but the turtle suffers, and Clarence has to put on all the old lady's clothes in order to save the turtle, which is also just very weird and doesn't really make me laugh. I know I'm probably not the target audience here, but you could still make a good show for, entertainment purposes and make me laugh a little bit. I laughed at the other episodes, so here it was just pretty awful. And the old lady eventually shows up, and the dog confuses Clarence and the old lady. He doesn't know who to trust. So Clarence, watching this old lady's dog, now the dog even hates the old lady and wants to brutally murder the old lady. So the old lady comes back to her sweet loving dog who truly loved her, who now doesn't love her anymore. That just sucks. That just sucks a lot. Yeah, this episode just wasn't very good. I would honestly give it a 3 out of 10 if I was to review it myself. There's just a lot lacking here in the story. Clarence by himself genuinely doesn't work. Watching him just not actually know how to take care of animals at all while he's constantly calling himself the Dog King just isn't very enjoyable, and I just ended up feeling bad for the old lady, bad for the turtle, and even bad for the dog. It just wasn't very good, so I could definitely see why this is one of the worst episodes. It's definitely worse than even I thought it was going to be. Now going back to one of the best episodes of Clarence, Little Buddy. This episode has an 8.8 rating on IMDb, so I was honestly pretty excited going into it. I mean, Capture the Flag managed to wow me, and honestly, I was left a little bit disappointed. I think the episode has a good look into like depression and kids' depression, but the flow of it and the just rate in which stuff happens is just so random for me. I actually do really like this scene. Clarence is addicted to this doll named Little Buddy, and he's trying to show everybody it, and eventually he just causes a little bit of chaos, so he gets put in timeout, and he ends up missing all of recess. I actually really like when he's in timeout and he's imagining all of these different things that he's missing out on. I actually thought the visuals were pretty cool.
But if I say something, I'll get 5 more minutes.
That was cool, so I was like, okay, this is a pretty good opening to this episode. I could see why this could potentially be the best episode. So it continues, and Clarence is really upset because he missed out, and so he ends up hurting his little buddy and has to go bury it because he doesn't want anybody else to see the damages. Oh no, little buddy, oh god. And this leads to Clarence like selling all of his stuff, becoming genuinely depressed, and just not wanting to talk to anybody, not caring about anybody. And I actually thought this entire aspect of the episode was really cool. I was getting into it, I was enjoying enjoying the story, but then that's when the pacing just gets a little bit weird. 1 second, Clarence is just in detention, and then the next second, like, before he's just wearing a black hoodie and he looks very angry, and then all of a sudden it just cuts to him at the playground and he's wearing little Buddy's clothes, so like a weird wig and weird clothes, and he's just attacking one of the other characters, Jeff, with a little Buddy's hand. He's like, "Hey, you want it? Pull it, pull it."
Buddy's hand.
Clarence,
Just come on.
stop.
Pull
No,
little
stop,
Buddy's hand. It's
please.
my little hand.
Get that
Come
away
on,
from me.
grab it.
No.
It's
no,
nice
no,
and
no,
warm.
no. What's your flying? What the heck is that?
You.
And like, genuinely, this scene caught me so off guard. I genuinely was sitting there watching it, and I had to like snap back into reality, and I was like, did I just miss like 3 minutes? When did this happen? What's going on? Because I don't know, there was no build up to him deciding to wear the clothes of his former little doll. I was not ready for it. I was not expecting it. And when we got there, I was shocked. And then Clarence literally just punches another kid in the face. And I was like, damn, what's going on?
Guess you saved the last pants.
When did this happen? There was no build up to this. This is just crazy. And then he goes into the principal's office, and it turns out to be his teacher, and his teacher brought back little Buddy, which rejuvenates Clarence, and he's happy again. I thought this episode could have been way better. It just genuinely felt like a chunk of the episode was cut out. I feel like if it was a 22-minute special, I feel like there would have been a lot more build up to it. But genuinely, I was just in shock with the pacing because I didn't know what was going on. Like, 1 second, he's really depressed. The next second, he's cosplaying as his little doll and fighting people. I just wasn't ready for it. I don't know if just I shouldn't really expect decent pacing in the show, but I don't know. It felt like this episode could have been way better. I think I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 10. For one of the best episodes of Clarence, I was left feeling a little bit underwhelmed, you know? I thought tackling the depression of Clarence was interesting for his character and different from what you usually see, but I don't know, I feel like they dropped the ball towards the end. That's just what I think about it. Back to the worst category with the episode, Gilbin's Different with a 6.1 rating on IMDb. And dear Lord, I can see why this is one of the worst reviewed episodes of Clarence, because it is abysmal. I feel like a lot of shows eventually try to do something like this, and I am never a fan of it. The beginning of the episode, they're just hanging out. Clarence says that he's having this special event, and I actually felt bad for this principal for some reason. It was kind of weird that he wants to hang out with the kids, but I felt bad for him because he just seems so sad that he couldn't throw things at a rock.
You can't even come. I got you. Oh, but why?
I felt bad for him, but Clarence is having this event at his treehouse, and they're just all doing a bunch of shenanigans. Kind of boring. I would assume if you're a kid, this is a lot more interesting, but I'm just looking for the comedy of it all. Eventually, they see that this kid Gilbin, who is really weird, has a mustache growing, which makes Clarence question everything because puberty is starting. And so, of course, God, one of my favorite plot lines in any show is when a semi-grown character, an adult character, a child character decides that they want to start acting like a toddler. I am never a fan of these. I really hate it. I don't understand the appeal to make a character that is fully grown all of a sudden have a desire to be a toddler. So Clarence takes off all his clothes, wears just his underwear, starts sitting in front of the TV and having appy thought, and starts watching kid shows.
Hey, man.
Hello, Sumo. You want some appy sauce?
And I thought they were going to go with that for the majority of the episode, but they don't. It just gets even worse, to be honest, because his mom tells him that being an adult is cool because you get to do cool adult things. So Clarence is like, wee, it's cool. And so he starts acting like an adult. He puts on a fake mustache. He starts acting all grown until he runs into Jeff, and Jeff is all like, you need to learn responsibility. So then we have another character, and Jeff is typically one of the characters that I look at who is more well put together compared to Clarence or Sumo. He seems like he knows more about what's going on in the real world. And God, I was so wrong, because he's all like, well, Clarence, you need to learn to take after a baby. So he dresses up as a baby, starts crying and being a baby. And then a bunch of other kids show up, and they're just all like, oh gosh, I'm a baby.
I got a big meeting tomorrow, baby Jeffy. What is it?
Babies can't talk. You gotta figure it out.
Or Sumo is pretending to be Clarence's mother, or I don't know. It's honestly already a fog, and I just watched it because it's just that awful. I don't like watching when characters try to pretend to be a toddler, pretend to be somebody older. It's just not entertaining. And Clarence eventually chops off little Jeff's finger. It's like a fake doll finger, and everybody's in shock. And then the Gilbin kid shows up, and I actually thought that was really funny, because what the hell is Gilbin? He just like starts like touching people and not saying anything at all, and then everybody is just understanding him, but he was kind of like ominous in a way, and he says that it's okay because he's 2 years older and he got held back, so that suddenly makes it okay, and Clarence will never grow up. Yeah, not really a fan of this one. I could definitely see why it's one of the worst. I just genuinely don't like when characters act like toddlers, or a character who is older has to look after somebody that's the same age who's a toddler. I usually think back to the SpongeBob episode Squid Baby, where Squidward is turned into a baby. I don't find that enjoyable. I don't think it's a good plot line. It's not really good. I'm giving this one a 2 out of 10. Not very good for me. Not very good at all. Now we're heading on over to the best category, and we have the episode Dream Boat. And the beginning of this episode actually has one of the only clips that I continuously see from Clarence. Like everything else I never see ever. It's the scene where Sumo is sitting at the desk and it's like, do you regret what you did? No. Would you do it again? Sure, why not?
I've seen it all, okay?
Do you regret what you did? Nah. Would you do it again? Sure, why not?
I enjoyed that. I think that was great. And then that kind of leads to the question when he flips it to the back and it's all like, what do you hope to achieve in life or something? I already forgot the question. But that makes Sumo question a lot. And then we actually get to see a lot of Sumo's like family life, where there's a bunch of kids. His father only seems interested in the eldest 2 sons. And Sumo just wants the admiration from his father, which leads to him wanting to build a boat so he could get admiration from his father. And he's just building the boat a while, kind of shutting on his friends because his friends don't want to be serious about building the boat. And I actually enjoyed the majority of this. I don't think it's the most interesting or hilarious thing, but just story-wise, I'm having a good time. Eventually, Clarence and Jeff do want to help Sumo, and they stay up all night building a boat and trying their best. We get a great scene where Sumo's dad comes out and is just saying to not catch a cold, showing us that he probably cares at least a little bit. And eventually, with the help, they actually manage to make a boat. They sail out to the 7 seas, and they're just on that boat having a good time, and the boat fails, and then Sumo's dad comes and rescues them, and they take a picture together.
We have a lot of things in our mind. Sometimes things are really hard for me. It's not perfect, but it's my boat. And I love it.
I don't know, the pacing of it is still a little weird. There's never a scene where I feel like his father truly has a revelation. I guess he's just starting to notice his son, and that's when he starts caring about him, which I enjoy. Overall, I don't think this is the most comedic episode of Clarence, probably, but I think it just has a decent enough story, a view into Sumo's home life, and overall a sweet message to just top it all off, to care about your kids and to give notice to them, even if you got a lot of them. So I was having a decent time. I'd honestly give this one a 6 out of 10, just because, again, it's not the most interesting episode I've ever seen, but I'm still having a decent time, and there's a couple of memorable moments throughout, so it's definitely an okay episode. And going back over to the worst category, this episode genuinely shocked me because I actually thought it was really good. It was really funny. The episode is straight illin and it has a 6.1 on IMDb, but I honestly loved it. I thought the setup was really good. The beginning of the episode is just Clarence will do any dare. I didn't really like the part where he unconsensually kisses this girl who just doesn't seem to notice. I thought it was going to be like a sexual assault plot for a second, but no. He just keeps on doing dare after dare until the Belson guy dares him to eat 500 deviled eggs. And you would think that's not possible, but dear lord, he does it. And I know it's supposed to be a lot of gross out humor, but I honestly found it to be really charming and really funny just watching him eat all these eggs. And yeah, watching him get really plumped up was kind of hard to watch, but still, he manages to do it. He eats all of those eggs, and it's honestly kind of funny. And then the episode is supposed to really get you with the gross out humor, and I think this is where people start to rate it really low. But because of the way Clarence's character works, to where he's trying to power through his illness and still has that Clarence charm, it actually makes it very entertaining. To where I normally wouldn't find Clarence to be that funny, when Clarence is like snot-nosed and looks like he's like going to die, and he's just like, oh hey guys, I can still play.
I'm not even going to respond to that.
You guys, no more are these stars? I stayed up all night making these Clarence dollars.
I can still play. You want to play Duck Duck Goose? It actually gets me to laugh a lot. So the episode continues and he's at school and he just keeps trying to act normal, and we just get so many great scenes with this. I really love when Jeff and Sumo are trying to help Clarence, trying to help him figure out his illness and get him to the nurse.
Sumo, abort!
Jeff, my darling. What are you doing?
I have to mention that even while editing this video right now, this one scene can still make me bust out laughing. Just his decrepit face behind him. Jeff, my darling, what are you doing? It's so funny, dude. Why is this so funny? And they, come up with this major plot in order to get him there, and Jeff is trying to lure him, and he's like in the cafeteria, and Clarence is like, oh, Jeff, I see you. Jeff, you wanna play? It's clear that they were trying to lean into a horror aspect of it, which makes the episode feel a lot better. It's not just gross out humor for the sake of gross out humor, it's gross out humor in order to make you terrified of Clarence.
I see you.
And I just think it works really well with him crawling and following them into the vents. It's just really hilarious to me. And everybody's reactions to it is also really good. So, eventually everybody else gets sick. They catch Clarence's gross out deviled eggs disease, and they all have to go to the nurse, but they get some time off of school because of the disease. So Clarence is a hero, and they just carry out his, corpse. God, I think it's so good. There were actually a lot of jokes that I liked in this episode too. There was one joke with Jeff where he's like, or Sumo is saying that Jeff is right, and Jeff is all like, I'm what? And Sumo's like, you're right. And he's like, I know I am. I just think it's really funny. Or Clarence calling Jeff, my darling. It's just so good. I don't see why this episode was reviewed so badly. I feel like it's people who were going into it not expecting the gross out to be the horror aspect of the episode, and Clarence's sweet, innocent personality when he's super sick and just trying to play with everybody. It works so well in creating a unique horror aspect that feels like you're watching something like The Shining, and this episode genuinely caught me off guard because I thought it was very good. It was a lot of fun to watch, and surprisingly, one of the worst episodes of Clarence was a really pleasant time. Now, obviously, I haven't seen the full show. There are over 130 episodes, but the consensus that I got watching the 3 best and the 3 worst was that the show is honestly pretty decent. It's not going to wow you and be something truly special, but it's a good slice of life show. The worst episodes, they were just okay. They just had specific tropes that I didn't like Clarence wanting to be a toddler and just that was hard to watch, or Clarence being a bad pen owner. That just wasn't enjoyable. But then again, there is Straight Illin, which is Clarence just being a sick, grotesque monster, and it's supposed to be a gross out humor episode, which I normally hate, I really do. But Clarence's personality made that genuinely so much better to watch, because of course it's hard to watch Clarence with snot coming out of his nose and his just decaying body with pimples and everywhere, but at the same time, just him being like, Jeff, my darling, come here, because he's so naive, he doesn't even understand what's happening to him, actually makes it feel really funny compared to him just suffering the entire time like, oh, what's going on? Just his personality makes it way more enjoyable. And then the best episodes, Capture the Flag was honestly incredible. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a great premise. I liked seeing the world, all the kids playing the super fun games, Sumo being just this massive villain going up against Clarence becoming a messiah. It was just really enjoyable. And if those episodes that were the worst were the true lows of the series, then I could see it only being up from there. My only gripe with the series is that Clarence is sometimes hard to watch when he's by himself. It's a lot of jokes, like, over and over and over again, and if they don't land, you just kind of get taken out of it, and he just keeps on going, and eventually you just kind of feel bad for him in a way. I don't know, I feel like you have to be a specific person to constantly be laughing at Clarence, but if you could always laugh at him, then the show is probably just pure gold for you. Also, I could definitely tell that the show, probably the majority of it, is gross out humor. But if they're able to do it with the charm and the presentation of Straight Illin, then I could honestly enjoy the majority of it. So overall, is Clarence awful? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it's a pretty decent show. It definitely wouldn't be my favorite. It doesn't stand out to me as being something truly special. But if I wanted something to put on in the background, occasionally looking up to chuckle at it, then Clarence would be a great option. And I am planning to look at the show a little bit more in depth, maybe on my own or maybe for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know if you enjoy this format. I could keep doing the 3 best or 3 worst for some of the shows that I never gave a chance, or I could do a different option where I choose 5 to 6 random episodes from a show, and if those episodes can knock me off of my boots, just send me backwards, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's so good, then maybe that could be my consensus instead of the 3 best and 3 worst. But overall, I enjoyed watching Clarence. I like that I gave the show a chance because I honestly, going into it, I thought this was going to be an awful experience. So I'm leaving pleasantly surprised. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one.